Hello and welcome from Home Inspector M.D. There is one new appliance in the utility room that many people have no idea what they have or why it's even there. When buying a new home here in Ontario, Canada, we often see this strange box next to your furnace that people just ignore. What in the world is this thing? Well, it's called a heat recovery ventilator, or HRV for short. So let's take a closer look at this and why it's there and why it's almost standard for new homes today. But before we do that, let us compare older homes with newer homes. Today, our homes are more airtight than older homes. Older housing construction did not have the strict tolerance levels compared to today, with more air gaps, less insulation, less efficiency requirements, and older windows. There was much more air escaping from the home than today. Today, we have new building codes that have created airtight homes. They are wrapped in continuous air barriers, which are sealed, spray foamed everywhere, and with more insulation and better performing windows. Not to mention, we no longer install the biggest hole in the house, those old masonry chimneys. Now, why does this matter? Well, we made it so airtight that the house can't breathe now. Moisture used to escape easily, but now it can't. This can create conditions for mold to occur. It can create a pressure imbalance. It can pull moisture into the wall cavities, cause condensation, which can lead to mold or rot. In addition, with an airtight house, you keep your indoor pollutants inside, and you're not getting fresh air into the house. By bringing in fresh air and removing the irritant heavy air, it may also help people with asthma. So what does an HRV do? Well, basically, it's an air exchanger. Inside the cabinet is called the cube, which is the core heat exchanger. You should see 4 air ducts. 2 of them should be insulated, and those are connected to the outside. Technically, these really should be as short as possible. The other 2 ducts are usually not insulated and connected to your furnace to work with your existing duct system. What happens is the warm house air enters the HRV, enters the core, and exits through one of the exhaust ducts to the outside. When this is happening, the supply duct receives fresh, cool outside air, which also enters the core and then exits to the duct system of the furnace. In the heat exchanger, the warm air from the house is warming the cool air from outside. So now you have warm, fresh air entering the house, and that's the key. Remember that the warm house air and the cool outside air do not come in direct contact with each other in the heat exchanger. Other parts of the system are fans to assist in moving air, and you also notice a condensate drain line coming out of the cabinet and most likely exiting to a floor drain in the basement. That's because this device produces water from the core. You would also have a way to control the device the way you want it. Obviously, some features are determined by which brand you have, but the most common features are the ability to run the HRV 24/7 at low speed, so you have constant air exchanges. That's great for people with asthma, great for really airtight homes. Other modes would be medium and high airflow if you want a short-term use, and that would be good for reducing strong odors, parties, cooking, and hot showers. You can also control the humidity in the house. You always want lower humidity in the house to prevent mold growth. Most HRVs will allow you to have a timer and a programmable schedule for it to run in different settings for different situations, such as if you're working during the day and you're not at home. And this will allow you to save some energy. And what about the maintenance of an HRV? Well, maintenance is fairly easy. Much like the furnace, for the most part, all you have to do is replace the filters in the HRV. And there should be only 2 filters, one for the fresh air intake and the other for the exhaust air. Depending on the type, most will allow you to just clean the filters every 3 months or so. Or you can replace the filters every 6 months depending on whether you have more people or pets in the house. And just like the furnace filters, it's very important that you clean or replace these filters. If you find that you do have an HRV in your house, make sure the outdoor terminations for the exhaust and the air intake are properly done. The air intake should have a screen to prevent anything other than air from entering. The exhaust should have a functional damper that opens and closes easily. The intake and the exhaust should not be next to each other and be around 6 feet away. You also want to see the intake at least 18 inches above grade so it is not blocked by snow. You also do not want something like a dryer vent near the intake because you don't want lint to be brought back into the house. When HRVs are retrofitted into the furnace room, just watch for poor installs with the intake and exhaust ducts. Look for damages or holes, as they can be just crammed into small spaces, which creates hard bends that can prevent proper airflow. And other than the initial installation cost, there are minor electrical costs to operate, and the filters can be washed and reused. HRVs can save money on the heating, and it brings fresh air into the house and takes away stale, stuffy, old air. If you just bought a new home and see this in the basement, just don't ignore it. Use it, as it can bring a better quality of life to your family. To sum up, if you're buying a house, look for this box next to your furnace and don't just ignore it. Use it, as it does have many benefits. From Home Inspector M.D, this is Bill saying thanks for watching our video on heat recovery ventilators, or HRVs. If you find the information very useful, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and think about us on your next home inspection. Want more videos such as these? Check out our other videos here.